Could I 10? Just thinking. Assuming, of course, we're not dealing with 5-dimensional objects in a basic Euclidean geometric universe. And
have you ever watched that scene and thought, what is Rimmer actually saying? I recently found out what Rimmer is saying, and the truth of that scene shocked me. That speech isn't just technobabble, it's actually one of the smartest pieces of writing in Red Dwarf. It's clever, not just intellectually, but thematically. It captures everything Holoship is really about: ambition, inadequacy, and the belief that you can shortcut your way to self-worth. But it's also about the inadequacy of intellect as performance. Or to put it another way, if you instantly give intellect to someone like Rimmer, you don't get a better human being. You get the same Rimmer that just wants to show off his newly found intelligence. So first, how did I actually decode the meaning of that speech? Well, the truth is, it was easy, because I have an IQ of 6,000. But don't feel intimidated, because that's only the same IQ as 6,000 PE teachers. The truth is that just as Holly is supposed to have an IQ of 6,000, Elon Musk and Sam Altman, the heads behind AI language models like Grok and ChatGPT, have both claimed that working with Grok 4 or ChatGPT 5 is like having access to PhD level brains.
Grok 4 is postgraduate, like PhD level in everything. Better than PhD, but like most PhDs would fail.
But with GPT-5, now it's like talking to an expert, a legitimate PhD level expert in anything, any area you need.
So I thought, why not put the script into ChatGPT and ask it about Rimmer's speech? But before we dive into what ChatGPT actually said about that speech, we need to look at the episode Holoship itself. Because once we fully dissect the themes of the episode and what it's really about, his over-the-top speech suddenly makes perfect sense. It's not just a throwaway gag, it's part of a much bigger idea that runs through the whole story. In Red Dwarf, we learn from the first episode that dead crew members can be revived as holograms.
George is back with us, albeit as a hologram.
Holly's only capable of sustaining one hologram. So, my advice to anyone more vital to the mission than me is, if you die, I'll kill you.
The Series 5 episode Holoship is the first to fully explore the implications of what George joked about back in episode 1. Holograms are projections of light. They have no physical presence. There's the light bee.
It buzzes around inside him and projects his image.
But apart from that, they're entirely projections of light. So the Space Corps would only justify reviving a crew member as a hologram if their mind was worth the energy cost.
The company is paying for your hologrammatic survival.
A hologram of a technician or helmsman couldn't physically operate equipment, but a strategist, a scientist, or a commanding intellect could still contribute. And when George McIntyre says,
my advice to anyone more vital to the mission than me is,
he's joking about a very real hierarchy. Only the most intellectually valuable would be considered worth bringing back. And if someone else with a potentially more valuable intellectual contribution is competing for your hologrammatic presence, well, that's just too bad for you. To the hologram, their very existence is therefore predicated on their having a very high intellect, and perhaps more importantly, making sure everyone knows it.
Every crew member is the top gun in his or her field. This is a ship, Mr. Rimmer, of superhumans.
That creates a built-in selection pressure. The system naturally filters for the brightest minds, and by extension, for the people most aware of their brilliance and best at displaying it.
Holo-crews are legendarily arrogant.
And arrogance about intellect naturally brings about an automatic contempt for those who lack their giant intellect.
Thanks to Enlightenment, evidence of primitive humor. With patient tuition, could maybe master simple tasks.
On the Holoship, intellect is king, and you show it.
Captain Air Cool Platini, IQ 212.
And when intellect becomes a form of status display, it seeps into every part of life. Even the most human experiences are reframed as equations to optimize or distractions to eliminate.
We have developed beyond love, Mr. Rimmer. That is a short-term hormonal distraction which interferes with the pure pursuit of personal advancement.
But although Nirvana Crane believes in the philosophies of the Holoship, She's touched by her direct and emotional experiences with Rimmer.
It's never been like that before.
And yes, someone will point out that this video is quite philosophical for a sitcom that once had a polymorph disguised as a thong. But stick with me. After all, this is also a show which featured future echoes, white holes, and a planet based on Rimmer's psychology.
Is it me? Are those frogs saying useless?
So Rimmer wants to join this holoship. It can give him a physical presence, but it can also realise his dream of being someone with status. He lacks a true sense of self-worth and believes being part of an elite hierarchy would grant him that.
Because I want to be somebody. I want to have a position of authority on a scout ship exploring uncharted space. Work alongside educated men and women, officers, people who count.
Rimmer is arrogant as compensation because of the insecurity of lacking a sense of self-worth, whereas the crew on the holoship are arrogant because they're insecure about their status being taken from them by someone smarter.
Commander Natalina Pushkin, IQ 201.
Commander Randy Navarro, IQ 194.
If someone else wants to join the crew, they are literally fighting for their own lives. Therefore, their initiation test is absurd.
The questions will come through your headphones in a variety of different languages to confuse and disorient you. There will be a total of 200,000 questions in this initial session,
which serves to boost their status. If they pass that, then they must be good. But it also serves to limit the possibility of someone on the crew losing their lives because of a successful challenger. And so, realising he'll never pass the intelligence test, Rimmer cheats and uses a mind patch. Which brings us neatly back to Rimmer's speech. Now armed with his brand new supposedly giant intellect.
He's read every book in the medical library in under 3 hours. The change is quite astonishing.
As I mentioned earlier, I decided to put that speech into ChatGPT and see if it could decode it for us. Because as fans, that's the sort of thing we do.
I'm addressing the one prat in the country who's bothered to get hold of this recording, turn it round and actually work out the rubbish that I'm saying. What a poor, sad life he's got!
And what it revealed is quite telling. Assuming, of course, we're not dealing with 5-dimensional objects in a basic Euclidean geometric universe. Euclidean geometry is the ordinary kind we learned at school, the one with straight lines and triangles with angles that add up to 180 degrees. So what Rimmer is really saying here is basically assuming we're not dealing with normal boring mathematics. In other words, he's trying to move past real mathematics so he can talk about his own made-up version instead. And given the essential premise that all geometry is based on the hideously limiting notion that 1 + 1 = 2, he's now claiming that ordinary mathematics is too basic for his new genius brain. And then he quotes a mysterious mathematician, Astermeyer, who supposedly says that 1 and 2 are the same thing looked at differently. He's using clever sounding words to make nonsense sound profound. 1 is a defined concept, and 2 is double of 1. But Rimmer just insists, I'll pretend that 1 and 2 are the same in my fantasy mathematics. And then the rest of the speech is Rimmer stringing together random Greek and Latin prefixes just to make the shape sound impossibly advanced. Okay, so now we know, but the implications of his speech are quite profound. It's pure Rimmer logic. When Holly's superior intelligence is restored in the episode White Hole, Holly is excited by the possibilities of her new intelligence.
Strike a light, I'm a genius again. I know everything. Metaphysics, philosophy, the purpose of being, everything.
But give superintelligence to Rimmer and his natural arrogance takes over. He uses that intelligence to dream up fantasy ideas to prove he's too advanced for regular thinking like normal people. It's pseudo-intellectual nonsense to perform the image of genius. Give intelligence to Rimmer and he's still the same performatively arrogant Rimmer he's always been. Intelligence doesn't change the personality underneath.
Look at the readouts. 0 mass.
The holoship crew have huge intellect, but 0 mass. They're intellect without substance. A really clever idea. And Rimmer with his natural arrogance fits right in. He's temporarily made clever, but not wiser. Rimmer gets his place on the holoship, but not because of cheating at the intelligence test.
I won. My opponent withdrew. There must be some mistake. These are Commander Crane's quarters.
She was your opponent.
Crane loved the raw emotional Rimmer he really is.
Underneath all that neurotic mess is someone nice trying to get out.
Rimmer thought status, rank and position would fill a gap where his sense of self-worth should be. But someone saw true value in the real Rimmer.
You make love like a Japanese meal. Small portions, but so many courses.
Someone who deserves a chance to grow.
When he realises she gave her life for his dreams, he resigns his place on the Holoship.
Permission to return to Red Dwarf, sir.
He spent the story trying to be important. He ends it by giving it all up for someone else.
I cannot believe I just said that.